We want to welcome everybody. Hello, hello. Happy, geez, what's today? Thursday. This is a long day. We're here from 7 to 9:30. So speaking of that, if you need any help or you want any extra after your math, just text me, call me, whatever you want to do. Some of you guys alluded to wanting to do that, and that's totally fine. We are going to look at what we looked at Tuesday again, a little quick video, as well as looking at some notes. So if you have a second right now and you want to grab a notebook, we're going to add to, or you'll be able to copy some of the stuff we looked at last time, which is totally fine, having to do with the election. Don't worry, we're not going to get political on who's going to win, who's not going to win. We don't really care about that. We want to know about the system, okay? Then we're going to look at some social studies, and then I want to look at what we did this week on IXL.com and what we did this week on newsela.com, and might give you some time to do that as well by yourselves if possible, okay?
Yes, sir.
So let's first look at what we looked at the other day, and I'll just, because you can see this, right? Can you read that, or do I need to get closer?
You're good.
Can't read it very well.
You cannot? Okay. What I'm going to do also is I'll explain it, but I'll also take a picture of it so you'll have it as an attachment. Let me shut this door. All right. So we were looking at election 2020. Super fun stuff, right? It's crazy. It's not, do we have a president yet? No, not officially. We learned what the popular vote is, and you'll see popular vote up. That popular vote is what? And this is where you guys can help me.
Majority.
That is the exact physical vote per person, okay? So, if there's 50, or in this state, I think there was almost 9 million or a little more than 9 million votes, that's the exact votes. Now, can you win an election on exact votes or popular votes? No, you cannot. We
Not in the US.
we look at electoral vote. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a couple scenarios. So first off, we look at the judicial, and this is where we fixed the numbers last time. The judicial, which is just made up of congressmen and women, House of Representatives, men and women, and the senators, the men and women, okay? So you have two houses, okay? Senators, there's one senator per state, okay? And then there's 435 representatives in the House of Representatives. This is based off of, and I shortened it, population. Okay, so kind of a fancy way of 2 senators per state. So it doesn't matter if your state is California with a whole lot more people than Delaware, you're going to have 2 senators per person, per state. If you're in the House of Representatives, you will have more like 55 representatives from California, and you'll have more like 1 or 2 in Delaware, okay? Because it's based on population. And we have this electoral college, which is made up of not 535, because we must add three representatives from Washington. Okay, there's 3 representatives from Washington, which gives us a amazing number of 538. So when we split that, the majority of 538 is 270. So if you've been watching the news at all, if you've even looked at the news, you will see election 2020 and the road or the path to 270. That's the goal, okay? You're trying to get 270. We will talk about in the little video swing states, okay? Those are states like Florida that can go either Democratic or Republican based on just based on the time frame. They're that close, okay? We are in a funny situation where it looks like Vice President Biden has the upper hand. I think Donald Trump would have to win out to win, okay? There is a unique scenario. Picture this. If you split 538 in half, you get 2, 6, I can draw a 6. You get 269 twice, okay? There is a weird, unique scenario that you could have 269, 269. That would be a tie. I don't even know constitutional wise what we do in that situation.
It goes to the House.
It goes to the House, and I believe there's an interim president until they figure out what the heck is happening, okay? You will see in the next couple of weeks, as if you've been watching the news, that there will be lawsuits. There will be, we'll write this over here, recounts. Usually a recount is if it is less than, okay? So less than, right? Less than, I can do less than 0.5%. So if the vote margin is less than 0.5%, so if you remember, some of you weren't born, but in 2000, we had a recount here in Florida. There were some hanging chads. We used to push paper down and create a hole, and we needed to document. And really, honestly, it was kind of a big, huge cluster. Now we use a pen, and you can see it. But we were at that less than 0.5% and took, I don't know, a good month and a half, went up to the Supreme Court as well. And there was a recount, which you recount every single vote and determine what's going on. There are now 4 or 5 Floridas, 4 or 5 states that are in this area where there will be recounting, and there will be suing, and there will be lawyers, and there will be things like that. So, I don't know, just calm down. You're not going to have a result yet. There's going to be a while for a result. We got plenty of time. I got to let Damien in. I see that now. Okay. So we will look real quick at this. I need what do you call it? Somebody to hold the camera. We are going to look right now at this video. If you were here the other day, we looked at it really quickly. We'll look at it again. Then we're going to jump into social studies and move from there. Okay, so hopefully that was good for you, or at least a little bit informative. Not a lot. We don't want it to be too informative. All right, where am I looking at here? So I want to get up here. There it is. So you can see this, right? Let me make this smaller. And we are going to review just that shorter video again, which I will send 2 links tonight to it. What is this? Let's go to history.
Joel, your internet service is horribly slow. It's time to make a change.
Get Frontier fiber optic internet. It has 25 times faster upload speeds than cable.
Sorry about the advertisement here. We're gonna look real quick at this one right here.
Votes, or just over half of 5.
The TED Talk for education. We love it.
Most people have heard of the Electoral College during presidential election years. But what exactly is the Electoral College? Simply said, it is a group of people appointed by each state who formally elect the president and vice president of the United States. To understand how this process began and how it continues today, we can look at the Constitution of the United States. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution. It specifies how many electors each state is entitled to have. Since 1964, there have been 538 electors in each presidential election.
Yeah, buddy.
How did they decide on the number 538? Well, the number of electors is equal to the total voting membership of the United States Congress, 435 representatives plus 100 senators and 3 electors from the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
Essentially, the Democratic candidate and Republican candidate are each trying to add up the electors in every state so that they surpass 270 electoral
270, that's the goal. We want 270, all right?
votes, or just over half of 538 votes, and win the presidency. So how do states even get electoral votes? Each state receives a particular number of electors based on population size.
So you see that Florida has 29, Texas has 38, and California has 55. So that's the number that's the most populous is California. Second is Texas. Then we are the third, and then New York over here is with 29 as well. Okay. All right, moving on.
The census is conducted every 10 years. So every time the census happens, states might gain or lose a few electoral votes. Let's say you're a voter in California, a state with 55 electoral votes. If your candidate wins in California, they get all 55 of the state's electoral votes. If your candidate loses, they get none. This is why many presidential candidates want to win states like Texas, Florida, and New York. If you currently add up the electoral votes of those 3 states, you would have 96 electoral votes. Even if a candidate won North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and West Virginia, they would only gain 31 electoral votes total from those 8 states. Here's where it can get a little tricky. On a rare occasion, like in the year 2000, someone can win the popular vote, but fail to gain 270.
This is becoming less and less rare. Happened in 2016 as well, as we reviewed Tuesday, that Donald Trump won the electoral but lost the popular vote. And Al Gore here, that's pictured. I don't know why they're taking his eyes out. But he lost to George W. Bush electoral votes, but won the popular vote.
Electoral votes. This means that the winner may have won and collected their electoral votes by small margins, winning just enough states with just enough electoral votes, but the losing candidate may have captured large voter margins in the remaining states. If this is the case, the very large margins secured by the losing candidate in the other states would add up to over 50% of the ballots cast nationally. Therefore, the losing candidate may have gained more than 50% of the ballots cast by voters, but failed to gain 270 of the electoral votes.
Mr. Popular, but not
Some
Mr.
critics
President.
of the Electoral College argue the system gives an unfair advantage to states with large numbers of electoral votes. Think of it this way. It is possible for a candidate to not get a single person's vote, not one vote, in 39 states or the District of Columbia, yet be elected president by winning the popular vote in just 11 of these 12 states: California, New York, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Georgia, or Virginia. This is why both parties pay attention to these states. However, others argue that the Electoral College protects small states such as Rhode Island, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and even geographically large states with small populations like Alaska, Wyoming, and the Dakotas. That's because a candidate can't completely ignore small states, because in a close election, every electoral vote counts. There are certain states that have a long history of voting for a particular party. These are known as safe states. For the past 4 election cycles, in 1996, 2000, 2004, and 2008, Democrats could count on states like Oregon, Maryland, Michigan, and Massachusetts, whereas the Republicans could count on states like Mississippi, Alabama, Kansas, and Idaho. States that are teetering between parties are called swing states.
That's us.
In the past 4 election cycles, Ohio and Florida have been swing states, twice providing electoral votes for a Democratic candidate and twice providing electoral votes for a Republican candidate. Think about it. Do you live in a safe state? If so, is it a Democratic or Republican safe state? Do you live in a swing state?
Swing state.
Are your neighboring states swing or safe? Is the population in your state increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
And do not forget, when you're watching the electoral returns on election night every 4 years, and the big map of the United States is on the screen, Know that the magic number is 270 and start adding.
270, we add them up. So I don't know if you did that or did not do that. There's a couple of other scenarios too. That I told you about the tie. There is a real, the Electoral College does a real electoral vote, I guess, beginning of December. And some of those states do not have to go the way that they want. They could vote any way they want technically. So we could see that as a very real possibility, but there would be lawsuits with that as well. So get ready for some lawsuits. Get ready for some just a little bit of turmoil, I suppose. But that's what we're looking at with the next month or two. Okay, so I'm going to share real quick this. Where are we? Social studies, and I'll give you this as a document as well. You guys were all able to receive social studies, hopefully social studies unit 2, as well as unit 1 and 2, all the answers. I sent that in an email previously. So let's look at main idea and topic sentence supporting details real quick. And then we're going to look at what we accomplish as a whole on Newsy LA, as well as on the IXL.com. So would somebody like to read these first 2 paragraphs? Anyone?
I'll go.
All right, let's hear it.
The main idea is the most important part of a passage or paragraph. The main idea may come at the beginning, the middle, or the end of a passage or a paragraph. A main idea may be implied or clearly stated. If it is implied, use reasoning and supporting details to determine the main idea. If it is clearly stated, you are likely to find it within the topic sentence, which is often the first or last sentence of a given paragraph. Supporting details provide additional information or facts about the main idea. Such details include facts, statistics, explanations, graphics, and descriptions.
All right, you can skip
As
the
with
next part because it
oh,
talks about that's just specifically about this book. So this is
okay.
the prep book for the regular GED. We use this in class, and now we're digitally doing this. So let's go through this. Somebody want to read in 1620? Anyone? No one? No volunteers? We got 15? Hello? All right.
I could, but I'm driving, so I
No,
can't.
yeah,
Sorry.
don't read and drive. I can't pay for your
That's what I said.
religion.
And I'll continue. In 1620, a group of colonists set sail abroad the Mayflower to start the second colony on England's land in the New World. Before going ashore, the colonists wrote and signed the following agreement from the Mayflower Compact 1620.
This is it.
We whose names are underwritten, the loyal subject of our dread sovereign Lord King James, having undertaken for the glory of God and advancement of the Christian faith and honor of our King and country, a voyage to plant the first colony, the new northern part of Virginia, do solemnly and mutually combine ourselves together into a civil body politic for our better ordering and preservation, to enact, constitute, and frame such just and equal laws, ordinances, acts, constitutions, and offices from time to time, and shall be thought convenient for the general good and colony unto we promise all due submission and obedience.
So this is giving you the main ideas, expressed it in the key point here in the passage that they're doing that. as well as the supporting ideas here, supporting details, provide additional information about that particular main idea, which is such the Constitution frames such just and equal laws. So, which ideal in the U.S. History is expressed in the Mayflower Compact? Is it the establishment of religious freedom, the growth of self-government, cooperation between colonies, or independence from England?
I think it's cooperation between the colonies.
Okay, so combine ourselves together into a body politic for our better ordering and preservation. Yep. Very, very good. All right. I'm not good at highlighting there. All right, so we're going to look at another one now. All right. We're going to study this table. This is looking at the colonies here. You're looking at the number of signers. All right. A total number of 56 men from 13 colonies representing New England. The middle colonies and southern colonies signed the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so from three different areas: New England, the middle colonies, and then the southern colonies. The signers ranged from age 26 to 70, including two future presidents, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Okay. Which two colonial regions were equally represented in signing the Declaration of Independence, suggesting both their power and importance? So we're looking at two that had the same exact number. I guess the two highest ones. So 7, do you see any other one with 7? No. 9, do you see any other with 9?
No.
Massachusetts and New Jersey.
Probably Mass and Jersey. So we're posting that. I like that. This is cool. We're doing it. All right. So we're moving on to, I love how it says this, because this is, I emphasize this all the time. Reading the passage and the questions, then choosing the best answer, not the right answer, because there's multiple right answers. You're picking the best answer, okay? Let's look at that. War between Britain and its colonies began on April 19th, 1775, but few Americans wanted to break from Britain. Instead, most colonists, so just a few, most colonists wanted to gain rights under British government. As the war continued, however, many Americans began to want economic freedom. Okay, the focus is economic freedom, in addition to personal liberty. On April 12th, 1776, North Carolina's delegates voted for independence. A month later, so we had North Carolina, and then we have Virginia. Delegates did the same thing. In June 1776, a committee created a document entitled Declaration of Independence that explained the need for independence. From the Declaration of Independence, okay, so this is the, what do you call it? The actual Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form. All right, so we got Jamie. Let me write down. I got some people that just popped in real quick. So. All right. I'll get those down. Where are we? That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations of such principles and organization, its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. All right, so we're looking, the details in the passage support which of the following main ideas? What's the big idea here? When war broke out in 1775, the colonists wanted to be independent from Britain. That was sort of right. North Carolina, Virginia's delegates were at odds over independence. So it looks like they weren't because they voted for the same thing. So that's stupid. The colonists cautiously approached independence. Is that true? Maybe. Virginia led the movement for independence. Virginia did not. Looks like North Carolina did. So when war broke out in 1775, the colonists wanted independence from Britain. Britain colonies began, but few Americans wanted, they did not, so that's not it. This is your best answer. The colonists cautiously approached independence. It took some time. What is the main idea in the excerpt from the Declaration of Independence? That all men are endowed with inalienable rights. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are the most important freedoms. King George III of Britain was a tyrant. He was, but that wasn't written in there. Governments have the right to end, people have the right to end destructive governments and form new ones. Is that true? Or which one of those is our best answer? What do you guys think?
A.
First one?
A, yeah, I think that's a big one, and it's in the first sentence. Okay, it would be between A and B. I think that's a better answer. So we looked at that section. I again will email Social Studies Unit 2 to you, as well as the cheat sheet and the answers to Unit 1 and 2. Let's stop sharing real quick. Let me make sure I have everybody on here. Damien came in. And let's see. Looks like I got everyone, I think. All right. I am going to look real quick at, let's look at what we've done this week. Where is it? Right here. So let's look at IXL as a whole. And I'm going to probably recommend real quick that, and I'll show you where that section is. Let's look at the diagnostic really quick. I'm going to see everybody who has started. We really emphasized this at the beginning of the year, and we have not emphasized it yet. You should be doing this diagnostic. It's going to give you a really good idea of where you're at. So if your name's down here, I need to encourage these students to enter the diagnostic arena. Make sure you do that, okay? And then I guess that's a bigger list. All right, so if you're on that list, please make sure you check out the diagnostic area. It's going to give you a really good idea of what you should do, okay? And what you should focus on, both in math and language arts, okay? This is language arts, so you have some students that are doing very well here and some that need to get going. Let's look at the analytics real quick. Going to look at just the students as a whole. Quick overview of the last week. Last 30 days? No, I'm going to look at the last 7 days. So we have spent the last 7 days, awesome, 12 hours and a half, okay? 12 hours and a half. If you don't have work under here, that means you haven't been doing it. So we need to get in there, look at all the topics that we looked at. I have given you now about 30 emails with different topics to focus on. All of them very relevant and can be very helpful, okay? Let's look at what we've done in the Newsy LA section here. Where is it? My content. Assignments. All right, so we want to look in the last 7 days, and I'll be submitting this for what do you call it? So if your name's on here doing any work, that means you've done some work. If not, we need to try and fix that, okay? Here are some of the assignments I send you. I send you these, if you didn't know, not as like a true assignment, like you have to do this section. I look on here probably every day, every other day, and just assign something that I think looks pretty cute. Actually, my sister, I'm just looking at this one. You saw the picture, right? My sister made, she is doing fostering, and her foster child has, she did a pretty dang good job of it. I'll show you real quick. And then we'll kind of wrap things up. All right, so let me show you this. This is my little man, Liam, if you can see. Let me stop sharing. It's the same exact, I'll go in the middle. Can you see little Liam?
Oh,
So that's the little man. He's only 6 months and he's about 250 pounds, and he's already signed for the, he plays for the Raiders. No, he seriously, he's the biggest baby I think I've ever seen in my life. He can sit up at 6
I
months.
thought he was 1 year
Oh,
old.
no, he can sit up. He can almost stand up. He gets in this jumpy thing. He breaks it. He's just solid, like as a rock. So they saved him from a crack house, which was good.
Oh my God.
Very, very good that he was. But he has, he just eats and eats. He's huge. He gains like a pound every 2 weeks. So we have 15 minutes for you to get ready for math, or if you want to stay on and ask me any questions, or you want to take some time and look at News ELA, or you want to take some time and check out your IXL, okay? Or if you just want to get prepped for math, that's okay too. But I'm going to stay on for a couple of minutes until people start getting off, and I'll send you 2 emails tonight with Tuesday's and tonight's lesson, as well as the as well as the attachments that would go with that. Okay. All right, my friends. Have a great weekend. Enjoy math. I'll say a little prayer for you with math because it's fun.
So exciting.
I have a quick question for you.
All right.
On the News ELA, I did read the assignment, and I did the one with the Halloween costumes. I wanted to know if you can possibly look over the answer that I typed in, the assignment.
Let's see if I could do that. I'll just screen share again. I'm going to stop recording now so it's not on there, okay?